Hey, Chris here, doing my hopefully final vlog for my study tour trip. Probably going to try and cover off from last night or yesterday afternoon, where we went to Armada Health. These guys are like a pre-diabetes kind of detection. They're targeting some big businesses in America that are kind of self-insured, that offer health insurance to their employees. So obviously there's a massive cost in terms of chronic illnesses, and what this hopefully does is reduce the chances of chronic illnesses and hopefully make it cheaper to insure people because they'll be generally healthier. So their story is pretty typical of what we've heard. They had, two founders at the start. They grew to 4 and then 12 within, about a year. And now in the last couple of years, they've really blown out to about 100 people now. I guess one of the things that they kind of said that was unique about their thing was their idea kind of never had to pivot. Their business model right from the start didn't change. Most of these startups have one good idea at the start, but then product market fit doesn't quite work out, so they pivot from there. These guys have had the one thing that's worked for them, so that's something that's interesting. Probably what they also said is to attract good people, you really need to give them this space and give them the empowerment to be able to affect change in the business. So I guess if you want to attract the best managers, then you need to be able to hand over the power to them so they can do their job. Another one probably was he just outlined some of the impacts that you can have if you work for a smaller business. So rather than working for like a large corporate where you might not have much influence at all, I guess one good thing to work for a smaller company would be that you can affect change, at a fairly rapid level or at a high level in a small company. But I ain't understand how the money was spent. My mama told me, boy, you ain't got no sense. If we put it all together, can we pay this rent? I've been to some places I never should. This morning we went to XTV, which is actually an Australian startup, and they've listed on the ASX. So technically they're an ASX company. It's different to what we're used to seeing here in terms of either angel investors or seeds or venture capitalists. So I think it was fairly interesting to see that. Another thing is when they did go to the ASX, a lot of non-voting stock that they put out to market, so they didn't lose any control over their company with what they did. So one thing that they probably did mention about marketing is that you need to really target kind of a specific industry, and word of mouth for your product or service is more likely to spread. So another thing they talked about was just kind of the employment, or the kind of what managers are like in the USA versus, or even just business or employees are like in the USA compared to Australia. What they said is Australians tend to be fairly good at everything but not really excel at anything, and to probably understand that because they're so specialized and niche over here, they've probably got a decent advantage just because each of their people are so outstanding in the small area that they might be looking at. So we went to Stanford again this afternoon. We had a look at D School, which is design school, basically an engineering, mechanical engineering kind of work area. The one quote that was probably there is that space is the body language of an organization. What they were doing there, and I'll upload some footage as well, I guess they made a space that was highly adaptable. It was just a great kind of team area, and you could set up however you really wanted to rather than using facilities there. Everything was on wheels, you just moved anything wherever you wanted to. So it was an interesting area.
since a lot of my bachelor degree was doing team-based projects in a similar kind of engineering environment. So it was good to see that the kind of some of the stuff that I'd done before was similar, but this kind of stuff was just next level. The last guy we spoke to was Ben. So he's from Meta, which is it's kind of like an augmented reality, more of like a Google Glass, interact with a virtual world. There's one funny point that he made, it's in 5 years time, it'll be all the rage, I guess, this glass or virtual reality. But I guess one thing he said was just about moral support, so we should make sure we're giving, well, what Americans do is they give each other a lot of moral support with whatever they do. I guess that's a pretty good philosophy to have in general, but I guess Australians probably tend to do a bit of tall poppy syndrome, put each other down. It's very important that we kind of, you know, if we've got ideas, let everyone know. If other people have got ideas, try and support them to bring it up, because you don't know when it'll come back for you, I guess. Very unique in their office is a ranch that they had. So they had about 30 people out on the outskirts of SF, living, working in one tight little area. The kind of culture that would create would be tremendous to getting innovation to happen in terms of the guys to just be working on it, you know, in their spare time. It'd just be a constant kind of problem solving, getting the kind of technology off the ground. What he did kind of say was some of the disadvantages of the kind of ranch facility and why they're moving away. One big one was like the distance of out of town, like with trying to attract good people and just trying to get out there or come in for meetings or whatever. So while it might have been good for product development, it's kind of hard to really implement the business kind of strategy and moving forward from there. And another one was just the facilities. The size of the place was just a little bit too small for the kind of numbers they're looking at now. The last place we went to today, which I'm now just wandering around outside, is Hacker Dojo. So this place is kind of like, I would say, a gym, except for coding and doing other kind of product development stuff. They compared themselves, I guess, with co-working space without the exclusivity. So, you know, you didn't really have to apply to get in. They didn't market to anyone. It was just word of mouth. So we're just going to watch a bit of a tech off again tonight, I believe. So that'll be good to see. I might do another quick update or just post a little snippet of that at the end of this. But yeah, that's going to be about it for a study tour. We're back on the plane tomorrow, so we might get out in San Fran. We've had a really good time. The people we've come here with have been, you know, good value, interesting people. Everyone we've met has been incredibly generous with their time, which has been unbelievable. Our lecturer Baden has probably, his contacts and the work that he's put in to get us the time with these guys is just amazing. It's just a testament to kind of, you know, his ability to get a network of people together. I guess now he's kind of created this additional connections on this network as well. You know, we often when we're talking to one, we're talking about other guys and they're going, oh, okay, yeah, he's there now and doing that and whatever else. So not only has he probably helped us obviously with our network, but he's probably helped, you know, these guys here as well, which is what they're kind of getting out of giving us that. So they're creating a network for themselves just by kind of helping us out, which is why this pay it forward culture really works. Yeah, so that's going to be about it for me. I'll might shoot some extra footage tomorrow and just post it up for a bit and put a bit of an extra thing. Alright, see you guys.
Oh, what you say when you gonna let me know if you give a damn about me? 'Cause you got my hand tied in my defense. I always fall for confidence. Your compliments look good on me. I was not